Hi guys, Nick Armenis here from Armenis Digital. In today's video, I'm going to tell you what a realistic budget is to get started with Shopify in 2021. Okay, so before I reveal to you how much money and time you'll need to spend on this, consider what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve from this? Because the budget will vary massively depending on what you're wanting to do. Are you wanting an extra $1,000 a month to help to do all those little extras that you want to be able to do, whether it's go out with your friends, buy something nice for your family, get a new car, whatever it is? Are you looking to just make an extra little bit of money, or are you looking to build more of a long-term business, something where you can actually quit your 9 to 5 or quit your existing business? If you're wanting to grow to 6 figures and beyond, then it's unrealistic to expect that you're not going to have to spend a lot of time and money. So if that's your goal, consider that this is going to be a big time investment and also a decent money investment. And just remember, the only difference between 6-figure store owners and 7 and 8 is they didn't give up. That is literally the only difference, because once you start to get that momentum, it's much easier to hit those bigger milestones. Another important factor to consider will be, do you want to drop ship or do you want to sell your own branded range of products? Because obviously the branded range of products is going to take a lot more work to get up and running, because obviously you're going to have to source those products, brand them, package them, and then import them into the country where you're going to sell them. Once you work out what your goals are, you're going to be able to much better know what your budget's going to be. So in this next section, I'll talk you through what a basic store setup will cost you. So the first thing you'll need is the basic Shopify $29 per month USD plan. That's all you need to get started in the beginning. Don't go for the bigger plans. There is a 14-day trial link in the comments below. So if you haven't used Shopify before, consider using the trial link below, and then you can get a good feel for how to build a Shopify store and see if it works for you. The second thing you'll need is a domain name, and you can actually buy that direct through Shopify or through other providers like GoDaddy. You're probably going to look at around $15 to buy one of those. The next thing you're going to need to consider is ad spend. So if you're a new store, you need to drive traffic or visitors to your store to buy, because no one actually knows about it. This isn't like a traditional business model. People don't know who your business is or how to find you. So you need to drive paid ads to your store to make sales. A good starting budget, in my view, is $25 to $50 per day for ads. So what I'd suggest is having $20 a day minimum for something like Google Shopping. If you want to learn how to run Google Shopping ads, there's lots of videos on the channel. So just go to the search bar and type Google Shopping under my channel, and you'll find lots of strategies on how to set those up. So I suggest you start off with $20 there, and then have another $5 a day minimum to remarket to people on Facebook ads. The reason we want to do that is we want to capture the traffic we get from Google and then follow them around the internet on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, etc. Now, there are free methods that you could try here, and for example, Google Shopping and Bing Shopping do have free options. The other options you have available to you are search engine optimization, or SEO. That is unfortunately quite a long-term game, so that's not something you're going to be able to rely on to get sales straight out of the gates, but definitely something to consider for those that are on a budget. The next thing also would be to use influencers on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, and things like that. So in that instance, you're going to have to offer them either discounts, products, and it is going to be quite a bit of a time investment for you. So if you're cash strapped, that might be a good way for you to get started. Now, while I don't suggest you go crazy on the Shopify apps, you are going to want some apps on there. Some of the main apps I would suggest are SMS Bump, which you can pay for based on per SMS. I'd suggest you start with some abandoned cart recovery. Now, you could use something like MailChimp, Klaviyo, or you could just use Shopify's native shopping cart abandonment. It's not going to be the greatest one, but for those of you on a budget, just stick to the free option. Another suggestion I'd have would be something that, if your theme doesn't have frequently bought together items at the bottom of your product page, that way it encourages people to buy more from you. And another optional one would be upsells. So when someone adds something to cart, you upsell them another item. And the reason we use upsells is to increase our average order value, so make more money per customer. The final two things that a lot of people don't consider are you need to set aside money for inventory. So for paying for orders, when people place an order, you don't get that money straight away. So you need to have excess funds to pay for the order that from the dropshipper you actually buy from, so from your supplier. There's going to be a bit of a lag, so you need to have money set aside to place those orders. Now, if you want a private label, you're going to need to set aside money for inventory. The other thing to note is certain countries do require you to set up things like business numbers, etc. So please check the legal requirements in your country prior to setting up a store, and so there may be some additional costs there. So the short answer as to how much money you need, I'd suggest anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 to start a Shopify store. Now, some people can do it with less. This is just my suggestion because you're probably going to find you need to run ads for about 3 months in total before you can get a really good gauge as to whether or not a concept is really going to work. My suggestion would be to at least try something for 3 months, and so you're going to need that money for ad spend and all the other costs I listed above. I know a lot of you are probably going to say that this is a lot of money, and for some of you it will be, but remember, you're trying to build a long-term business. Never before could you start a business for this small amount of money, and while it might be hard to get that money together, my suggestion would be to have that amount of money set aside to do this and take this seriously. You need to stop looking at other people's Lamborghinis and flashy boats and people telling you that this is super easy, because it isn't. It takes time, it takes money, it takes effort. So thanks so much for listening to the end, guys. I hope you now understand exactly how much money you need to start a Shopify store this year.